Welcome to another Darebee video which looks at aspects of fitness and health and well-being. I'm David, your host, and today we're going to be addressing something which a lot of you have emailed me about, a lot of you have sent in suggestions on YouTube, for which we are thankful, asking to cover why do we find it so difficult to exercise, to find it so difficult to start our fitness journey, and then we find it really difficult to continue, and we drop out and we quit. The figures coming out of gyms for this time of the year are really depressing. We know from statistics that 14% of the entire number of people who will join a gym in the year join in January, and within 2 to 4 weeks 4% of those have dropped out. Within 8 weeks another 14 to 16% have dropped out. Within 6 months, 50% have dropped out. We know from other studies, which I'm going to link to in the resource box on YouTube alongside other videos to help you, and some articles, so do check it out, that when it comes to New Year's resolutions, 23% will basically fail within the first 2 weeks, and something like 43% are going to fail within the first 4 weeks. So if your New Year resolution was to get fitter and healthier, well, you might find yourself in those statistics, and you may wonder why. When this happens, usually what happens is we blame ourselves, we feel we're deficient in some way, we think it's our fault, and then the whole thing sort of collapses. I'll start by saying this. If any of us was a biological, a biomechanical, neurobiological unit, that some alien from outside Earth came on this planet to invest money in, and he bought one of us. And the investment in buying us is quite significant, because from the moment we're born to, let's say, 18 years old, when we are fully functional in most aspects, he has to wait, that investor has to wait for 18 years. And then he has to make sure that all that money that was invested, for which he paid for us to get to that stage, now has to come back to him. What would he need in order for us to be so productive that he gets his money back and then makes a profit on top of that? And this is what he would need. He would need to make sure that his investment is cared for by a physical trainer, a nutritionist, and a psychologist. Those three things. And if he provided those three things throughout that biomechanical, neurobiological unit's life, that unit would be so productive that it would help that outside alien investor, which is my theoretical example, get his money back. Okay, obviously none of us have a personal nutritionist, a psychologist, and a physical trainer trailing us throughout our lives. Yet all of us have a need to be physically, mentally healthy and emotionally stable for as long as we can, in order to actually be productive, be successful in our lives, however you want to measure success by, and also be happy and mentally okay. So, starting by what we don't have, I think we can see what we do need. And that's how I'm going to start on this. Essentially, from a cognitive point of view, from how smart we are, we all understand the need to be physically fit. We all understand that we need to exercise, we need to sleep properly, we need to eat properly in order to be as healthy for as long as possible. We fail because at some point, despite our knowledge, what we experience is too much for us to bear, so something has to give. That's perfectly natural. And that's the thing we're going to be addressing. From a fitness perspective, if you want to maintain your fitness, I'll give you 3 items to look at and think about and put in place, which I hope will help you. What are they? Well, first of all, we all know we need to be fit, but we don't all know exactly why, what being fit means to us. For some of us, it may mean a physical aspect, a physical perspective, a physical look. We may need to look a particular sort of way, either for ourselves or for our surroundings or for our culture, or sometimes for our job. So, if that's what it is, work it out for yourself. For most of us, the majority of us, being fit really means being functionally capable. If you can do pretty much every physical aspect of your life that you want to do, and do it with relatively little effort or almost no effort, then that's great. Then how you look is going to be secondary to how you actually feel. And that's what I'm going to start from. So, step number 1, work out why you want to be fit. You also need to work out what fitness means for you. Does it mean bigger muscles? Does it mean being more active? Does it mean feeling happier inside your skin? Whatever it is, it has to be a personal thing. It is not always a good idea to be influenced by the external world. These are values we don't always hold inside ourselves. When we receive them externally, we kind of succumb to them and kind of try and follow them. And it's always like trying to make a shoe fit as opposed to the other way around. So, step number 1, work out why you want to be fit. If you work that out successfully and you truly understand it, now you have a real reason to actually start your fitness journey. So that leads us to step number 2. A fitness journey that doesn't have any goals is almost like setting out to go somewhere without any directions. And usually, if you don't know where you're going exactly, any road will get you there, which is not quite true, right? Because it means that you'll try all these different things and basically fail. So, if you understand why you want to get fit, if you understand what fitness means to you, then set some goals. And the goals have to be realistic. If you're starting out from a point in your life where you have no muscles, or next to zero muscles, because obviously we all have muscles, or you are overweight and you need to lose a lot of weight, and if you say to yourself, well, you know, I need to lose, 50, 60, 70 pounds within 2 months, that is unrealistic. If you want to say to yourself, well, you know, I want to be able to jump 2 meters up in the air or run 10 kilometers in 2 months, and I've never done any running in my life or any jumping in my life, that is unrealistic. Understand that when it comes to the point where you actually make a resolution, you feel usually relaxed, capable, and you think you're always going to be feeling that way. And this is not going to be the case. Or you feel so dissatisfied with your life at that point in how you feel in yourself that you think, oh, I'm going to change it and that's going to make me feel happier. Which is probably true for you, but it's not going to last for as long as you think. So set goals that are realistic and think of each goal as a milestone. As you reach that milestone in your life, then you're going to go on to the next one and the next one, and that's how you build. And what happens in that respect, if you try and follow this and you apply it, you'll find that as you build, you change physically, but also you change mentally and you change emotionally. You feel happier and you feel more capable, more confident. And that gives you a better basis for your next physical performance goal, whatever that may be. The third step I will give you is also important. No matter how capable you are, no matter how driven you feel, no matter how focused you may be in your life, at some point along your fitness journey, you're going to fail. You're going to feel overwhelmed, demotivated, and I have a link to motivation and how to fix that in the resource box. Tired, dispirited, and you'll give up. And if you're like most people, what happens then is that at that point you feel you failed, you feel you just can't do it, you feel like you're an abject failure. And instead of dealing with that, because that's difficult, you simply think, okay, I'm going to start again without setting a firm date or making a firm commitment. And that then becomes a goal that's further and further and further away. So if a typical person gives up about June in all their resolutions, and particularly the fitness ones, and then they have to wait another 6 months until December, and then with the new year, they start all over again. It's almost like a hamster wheel. We keep repeating the same mistakes. If, however, you accept that at some point in your fitness journey, no matter how well things are going for you, no matter how strong you may be mentally and physically, no matter what support network you may have around you helping you, you will feel things getting too much. You will feel tired. You will feel dispirited. You will feel that you want to give up. And you accept that. And you say, fine, that's going to happen. So when that happens, when I don't do my workouts for a day, I don't do my workouts for a week, I don't eat as I should for a day or a week, I don't sleep as I should, how do I deal with that? And for that, you need to have a strategy to help maintain your emotional focus and your psychological one, your psychological balance, and then that will help you get back to your physical one. To give you an example, let's say if you set yourself a goal to do something physical every day in terms of exercise, and we get now first month of the year, second month of the year, third month of the year, and the fourth month of the year, and something happens in the external world. It could be a family thing, it could be a friends thing, it could be a work thing, it could just be a world thing that just the outside information has overloaded you, and now you just feel everything is bleak, and there's no hope in the world, and what's the point of going on like this when everything is like that? It's perfectly natural to feel like that at some point. And then you got to say, okay, instead of, I didn't train, I didn't exercise, I didn't eat properly, I didn't sleep properly. But perhaps I meditated. Perhaps I went for a walk and listened to some music and cleared my head. Perhaps I looked at the environment for 20 or 30 minutes longer. I looked at nature and I felt that things are right again in the world, that I feel good in that. These are little things that don't take a lot of effort, but they have an oversized impact in how we feel, which then has an oversized impact in how we perform physically. So if you put those 3 steps in place every time, you will find that your fitness journey, however long your life lasts, is also something which you will be able to apply, stick with, overcome the bad moments, and keep on going with, constantly evolving. And although throughout your life, as you get older, as we all get older, you may not necessarily feel stronger all the time. You may not feel as capable all the time in terms of the things you did in the past. You will always feel capable. You will always feel confident. You will always feel that there are things you can do with your body, which then is reflected in things you can do with your mind, which then is reflected in the psychology you have of yourself, which then affects pretty much everything, your career and your relationships and your work and your targets and your happiness and everything else. So, recapping, 3 steps. Define why you want to get fit. Really have a good talk with yourself. Set realistic goals and be prepared to constantly evolve those goals. Have a backup strategy for when you fail, and you will fail. Maybe not in the first month, maybe not in the first year even, but at some point you will fail. It's inevitable because we all do. And when you fail, you need to have that safety net that will catch you, say, hey, big deal. It's 1 year, 1 day, 1 week in a lifelong process. I can deal with that. So if you have those things in place, then getting fitter is more of a mental game and a psychological one, which then evolves into a physical one. And the exercises we do are basically an easy key we use to unlock the deeper, harder to reach complexities of our brain and our mind, which affect our thoughts and our emotions. So keep all that in mind, keep on working on that, internalize what I tell you, keep the suggestions coming on YouTube. We are really grateful for those. Let me know how helpful you have found this. Do check out the resource box. There are things there to help you. Just keep on training, guys. It's as simple as that. Take care.